Aquarius, welcome to Yellow Cardinal Tarot with me. My name is Carol, and I want to welcome you if you're a new subscriber, and also I want to welcome you if you're coming back for another reading. So Aquarius, we're going to be looking at three big areas for you. This is a general reading, your yearly reading for 2025. First of all, we're going to be looking at power. And so we're going to look at what pattern or old habit do you need to release in order to take back your power this year. We're also going to be looking at the area of truth. And in particular, I want to look at a false idea or a belief system that you have about yourself that you need to become aware of. And finally, I'm going to look at purpose. So I want to look at what main obstacle is preventing you from taking the big step you want to do. I mean, or it could be a very small step and feel like it's huge. And sometimes that is, the case. But what is blocking you from taking that step towards your creative purpose that you were meant to do here on this earth? We're all here for a purpose. So I'm going to take about 5 or so minutes to shuffle this out, but I'll put it on speed shuffle, so it'll be less than a minute for you when I come back. And I will be using, for your reading, before I forget, I'll be using the Ehrenberg Tarot. I'll also be using the Radiant Rider-Waite to clarify and the Tarot Vintage to clarify. All right, so see you in a minute. All right, welcome back, Aquarius. We're going to start off with looking at this table right here and what's on it. So you have two sides to your reading, and then you have advice from the tarot right here. On my right side, which is your left, you have your outer world. And so this is what you're consciously aware of in regards to the three topics of power, truth, and purpose. And your outer world is sitting on a mirror, and you can see it on the chart above. And it is a reflection of what is coming up from healing in your inner world, which is on your right. And your inner world is your unconscious. It's your shadow. So we're going to be doing some shadow work here. And your shadow is all of those things that you've repressed from childhood or your adolescence. Things that, people would have said to you when you were younger that would have made you feel sometimes a lot of shame. You have big emotions that you couldn't handle when you were younger in your shadow. You have memories. You have your trauma. And everybody has trauma on a continuum. And you also have, believe it or not, you have gifts. We all came here with gifts. We came here to do something on this earth. And so that is buried underneath all of these things that we need to heal before we can get to it. And so we're going to start to look at right now what pattern or old habit that you have that's no longer serving you. And you're going to be aware of this because it is a pattern that's repeating, or old habit. And it's something that you need to become aware of because that's what you need to release in order to take back your power this year. And so let's start off with, excuse me, the Four of Wands in reverse. The Four of Wands is a real victory card. You can see the confetti that's falling from it. It's like a celebration card. And it's in reverse here. And because it's blocked and there's a resistance or a fear here on your part. The Four of Wands speaks about when you're ready to actually step out and go towards your creative purpose, because Wands is all about they're creative and they're purposeful and they want movement. And the Three of Wands talks about you had this plan that you were going to do it, and Four says, okay, I'm going to do it. But there's this hesitancy on your part, and I'm going to say it's like maybe it's fear. There's something blocking it, but there's something blocking you from taking that step, I'm going to say, towards where you need to go. And so every time you're about to take it, it's like it gets blocked. And the two cards that come up behind it are incredibly powerful. There are two major arcana cards come up. You have the Hierophant card in reverse, and then you get the Emperor that comes right behind that. It explains why you can't do this, whatever it is you want to do. The first card that comes up is the Hierophant card, and the Hierophant is in reverse here. So it's definitely well, first of all, let's talk about it in an upright position. The Hierophant speaks about, I like to say it's this individual, this papal figure right here is spewing out all this information to these two individuals at the bottom who are very much listening. These disciples, they're really following. If you think about it, when you were younger too, when your parents or your caretakers or adults around you told you things, you were like a sponge. You took it in, right? Kids just believe because that's what kids do when they're learning. They take it in. And so this card comes up to tell me that it's about the way that you were wired when you were younger as to what's right and what's not right. That whole sense of obedience that we have inside of us. And so that's in reverse here because it's telling me that there's some real rewiring that needs to take place here as far as, because you don't feel for some reason that you can do this thing that you want to do that's going to, it's a victory card here. There's some real wiring behind this. It's saying, I don't think so. Like, I don't think you can go here or do this. And then you got the Emperor card, this other strong universal force that's coming out here, and it's the Emperor. I call him Mr. Emperor because he's just sitting there and he's like, you almost have to give him this respect. That's kind of what he's sitting here like, I deserve this respect. So why does he think he deserves so much respect? Well, the Emperor is the card that creates the rules in society that we're meant to follow, that we learn when we're younger. And he's so comfortable on his cement chair, he's almost going to turn to cement. He's made those rules a long time ago. And he knows that they're stuck there and that people just follow them without even questioning him. And so I'm seeing here that, wow, there's like these two huge blocks that are coming into play here. How you've been wired and these societal rules that you're following without question. And that's why you have this fear or this resistance to going out and, doing what you want to do. There's something here because it's like I said, you had this plan, you know what you want to do, and yet it's like every time it comes up, there's this block that comes up and says, nope. I should say two blocks that come up and go, nope, you're not going there. Wow. So what do you need to heal here? What's in your shadow? What's from your childhood that you've put away that is coming up for healing now, that it's like, you need to heal this. You need to heal this in order to move forward and do what you want to do. Well, you have the Four of Swords that comes in, and the Four of Swords is about, talks about, in this card, when I did put it on the table, I wasn't sure if it was this way or not. I think it was on the floor or something when I picked it up. So I always make a mental note of cards that I had trouble with trying to figure out if they were upright or not. This card speaks about, kind of going inwards and taking some, not so much, just stillness. It talks to me about stillness, getting some stillness in your life. So this was in your shadow. And I want to say that because there might have been a chance that it was upside down, I'm going to say that stillness wasn't a thing for you when you were younger. Stillness, quietness wasn't a thing for you when you were younger. I don't think you had that opportunity to get still, to try to know, to get a real deep knowing of what it was that you wanted to do, because right behind it is the Eight of Pentacles. Eight of Pentacles speaks about doing something in our life that is our passion. What we came here to do. What was going to be a passionate thing for us. You know, some kind of job, some kind, what, you know, be really committed to. Well, it's buried here in your shadow. What you are meant to do is buried right here in your shadow. And maybe you knew, you know, maybe you knew what it was way back when. But, and here's the Nine of Swords that comes up right behind that thing that you were supposed to do. And the Nine of Swords, when it comes up normally in my deck, it means it's a memory. There's memories here. And oftentimes we wake up in the middle of the night and we can't go back to sleep, you know, 3, 4 in the morning. We can't figure out why, you know, we have all these sleep issues. This is this card right here. It's because there's a memory coming up. And so there's memories, a memory here of what you were supposed to do. And yeah, I think it got put away. I think it got put away here in your shadow. And so it comes up. And whenever it comes up, maybe you're somebody that follows your dreams. And when it comes up in your dreams, it gets blocked because you've got these 2 cards right here that says, no, you're not allowed to do this. You're not allowed to do this. And so whatever it is that you're supposed to do, your passion here, when it comes up for you, when these ideas or something come up in your dreams, and you will immediately block it. It gets blocked. And that's what these cards are here for. Wow. And then your truth. So what false idea or belief about yourself do you have that you need to become aware of in 2025? Well, I think you need to know. It starts off with the Tower in reverse. The false belief about yourself. Well, when a tower is in reverse, it means that it's kind of like the final red flag here. Like, and it's almost like, for me, it's like, I think, Aquarius, you need to, this is like a final red flag for you. Like, this is it. This is finally, you need to become aware of that. This is, I'm going to take a second to figure this one out because it's a tough one. Your false belief. Your Seven of Pentacles is a card that, I know what it is now. The false idea you believe you have about yourself. The Seven of Pentacles is a card in an upright position about someone that has committed. Actually, I looked at it at the beginning right away and I went, that's the Eight of Pentacles. And then I went, no. Something in my head went, no, it's the Seven of Pentacles. And it was like, because if it were the Eight of Pentacles, it was exactly what I was talking about here with your Eight of Pentacles being hidden in your shadow. And then I went, no, it's the 7. But it is the Eight of Pentacles. Okay, now it's like, okay, it makes a heck of a lot of sense here. Here's your Eight of Pentacles card right here that's coming out with your false belief. And it's in reverse. You don't believe that you can do something. You don't believe that you can do what you're meant to do. That it's sitting in your shadow right here. So this is a big gift of yours. It's sitting here, right here. And every time it comes up for you, it gets blocked. You have this big fear. You don't believe you can do it. And in this final, like it's like a final red flag here. It's like, you know, this can happen for you. It can really happen for you. There's this big warning that's kind of saying, you know, a big warning that you have this false belief about yourself, but you can do this, but you just think, I can't do this. And that's because of that wiring that you have up here that says you can't. No, don't go here. And then you have the Two of Pentacles coming up right after this, which is quite interesting because the Two of Pentacles is a card of distraction. I always look at it as this juggler, just, really ungrounded here. I think you need to realize that you are ungrounded, and that's part of why you can't do this, because there's something here that's kind of like a call for you to get really grounded, and the call to get grounded is important, and that's why you have the Tower card in reverse. It's like a final red flag here that says, listen, there is a real big false belief that you have that you can't do this. And then you just kind of, something, I think it's your ego self that's probably telling you you can't do this. You're not allowed to do this because the Hierophant, you're wiring in this controlling Emperor card came out, and maybe they told you when you were younger, these things that they told you, you're not allowed to do this. You were wired to believe you're not allowed to do this. And so, your ego self will take you back up in your head and make you believe that you can't do this. And so that's the false idea you have about yourself, that you can't do it. Maybe you think you're not allowed to do it. What's in your shadow that needs healing for this that's coming up for you? You have the Five of Cups. And the Five of Cups is a card that talks about these 3 cups that were spilled, but you fail to see the other 2 that are still standing. And so it's very much a card of focusing on those 3 cups that have been spilled. Very much a card of hopelessness when you were younger. Very much a card of hopelessness, feeling hopeless. Feeling like you couldn't see a way out of your situation. Very much stuck on this emotion. And it's in reverse here, which tells me, like I said, that it's very much, it was a very big concern when you were younger, this big emotion of feeling hopelessness, almost like you gave up when you were younger. Something to do with giving up when you were younger. And the Chariot card comes in here, and the Chariot card speaks about, in an upright position, the Chariot card speaks about our will. This person's controlling, using his mind to control. This charioteer is controlling these 2 sphinxes with his mind. And, sometimes I'm wondering if there was this controlling environment that you came from. This charioteer can talk about that because it's in reverse here. It also could mean that you lost your sense of control when you were younger, that you had no control, right? And that's where that controlling environment comes in. You had no control when you were younger, and so you gave up. You gave up. Feeling very, very hopeless when you were younger. You absolutely gave up. And the last card that comes in is the Temperance in reverse. And Temperance card talks about it in an upright position. It's a real card of middle ground. It's also a card of sometimes when, it comes out a lot when it talks about feeling and dipping in your toe into these emotions just a little bit at a time. And it's almost like a middle ground kind of thing. There was no middle ground for you. There was no middle ground for you. It sounds like you came from an extremely controlling environment when you were younger, where you really gave up. And I think now when this comes in about this, something that you're very passionate about, that you want to do, and you think you can't do it. And that's where all that, and then this dissociative card here that comes in, like you can't do it. I think what's happening is this hopelessness is coming in where I can't do this. It's the childhood, that part of you. And maybe it's a hopelessness where because you were so controlled, you weren't allowed to do something. And so as an adult, you're feeling right now that you can't do this. Because like I said, maybe you're not allowed to do it because you were so controlled when you were younger. And so this whole thing is about you wanting to do something with this Four of Wands up here. And I can just hear the control, the amount of wiring that was done for you, Aquarius, when you were younger, that really prevented you from doing what your passionate thing that you were supposed to do. Because remember I said you can find gifts in your shadow. And this is something that you were meant to do here. But I think when you were younger, you were told, you can't do this. And oftentimes when we're younger, when we show our gifts, and sometimes our whatever kind of situation you came from, childhood you came from, they can be discouraged, shut down, completely shut down. And I feel like I'm wondering what that Tower card is a sign of. Maybe you feeling like, no, if you're passionate, if this gift were to come out, maybe it's a little bit of a dangerous situation for you. Maybe you're feeling a bit scared to take it out because of your childhood. And there's something here that you were wired to believe that you weren't allowed to take this gift out when you were younger. Maybe you were warned not to. And so when it's coming up here, it's like, oh, I can't do this. There's like a lot of fear coming up here on your part. This is pretty deep. It's pretty deep. Purpose. So what is the main obstacle that's preventing you from going forward in 2025? Well, Strength card comes in. Strength card talks about having the strength to open up that Pandora's box. And there's the lion on her necklace right here, on their necklace. To open up that Pandora's box, open up that lion's mouth, and start to dig into your past, to start to dig into your emotions around feeling hopeless because you can't do this. This is the Strength card. What's blocking you in 2025 is feeling that you don't have the strength to feel those emotions, that hopelessness, and the real fear to go there. Real fear to go there. And it's all around this Eight of Pentacles, I think. This passion that you have. And you have the King and the Queen coming up right after. First you have the King of Cups. And the King of Cups is, the King in my deck is, I talked about the Emperor. I didn't talk about the King. Well, the King is like our Emperor energy too, where it's like the masculine, this is the masculine side of us this time. Emperor card is more of a universal force. This is the qualities that we can take on. And in particular, this is our ego self. This is a masculine side of us. We all have a feminine side. And that's going to come up right here with the Queen of Swords. That's right next to it. We'll talk about the masculine side, which is ego self. And that's the one that keeps us up in our head. Keeps us up in our head because it doesn't want us to feel. The last thing that our ego self wants you to do is to go into your body to feel this hopelessness that you felt when you were younger. It'll continue to keep you up in your head and block you from going towards feeling those emotions right here. And that's why you don't have the strength right now. You don't feel you can do it because your ego self is keeping you up here. We don't feel in our head. We feel in our body. That's where our emotions are. And you got your ego self that's blocking you from believing that you can do this, that you can go uh, and feel this hopelessness that you need to feel. And here's the Queen of Swords that comes right behind it. And she is the feminine side to us. And the sword in particular is our truth, our authenticity, and getting back to who we are. And there's a real pull, feminine pull, that's wanting you to get back to who you are. And you do that through feeling your emotions. And that gets you to a place where you get back to who you are, what you were meant to do, right? And she's in reverse. She's blocked here. So I imagine there might be some real, again, hopelessness on your part when that feminine aspect of herself is blocked because her ego self is blocking it. She'll feel really hopeless. She can have some ungrounded anger going on too. You know, maybe you need to get angry at some people from your childhood. You know, our ego self would not want you to do that, but that's how in my journaling, I get angry at people. A lot of anger. I'm not good at getting at my anger. It's something that I've had to work at through my entire healing journey of my own. It's because it was very much an emotion that was blocked on my part. And so I can get to my grief easily, but I can't get to my anger. And so I've learned to use it, and I talk about it in my journaling. I don't talk about it. I write from my anger in my journaling. And so what's going on here? Why don't you have the strength? Why is it blocked? Why is it preventing you from going forward? Well, we know it's our ego self. We know there's something here. So let's look at what's in your shadow that's coming up for healing. Well, you have the Six of Cups in reverse. And the Six of Cups is, this is, you know, this particular deck. I like this deck. It takes the, it takes a snapshot, a little clip of the main Rider-Waite deck card. And this is the little child that's smelling the flowers that's being exchanged in the Rider-Waite deck. And I believe this was in reverse. And the Six of Cups in my deck is an inner child card. And so you have a blocked inner child here. And, you know, you have a page right beside it. And a page in my deck is also an inner child card. We can have more than one inner child because different children of ours, our inner children, hold different things. This is the Wands. This is the inner child of yours that knew where you were going and what you were supposed to do when you were younger. And because it's got the wand in their hand, the wand talks about our creative purpose and where we're supposed to go. So you had an inner child. You have an inner child that's sitting here that needs healing because your purpose, your creative purpose right here, that's sitting here that you were meant to do, that you'll be passionate about doing, has been blocked so much. You were blocked from doing it when you were younger. And here's the part, the inner child, that carries the grief and the shame. You know, you have that unworthiness card, that hopelessness right here. You know, behind that hopelessness is a lot of shame and a lot of grief. And here's the inner children card that need healing. You have some real heavy emotions like grief and shame, hopelessness, that need to be healed, that need to be felt. Our inner children heal by listening to them, showing them we're understanding them, and allowing them to grieve. And we grieve for them. That's how they heal. And right behind all of this, these inner children of ours, comes the Hierophant card again in reverse. And it's the card of how you were wired. You were wired as it's blocked here. Real fear here. You were wired to, you know, these emotions, these inner children were blocked. And because your emotions were blocked, because of how you were wired to not feel these emotions when you were a young child. And they're wanting, these young children of yours want to be heard right now. They want you to feel. They want to talk to you. They want you to know how they feel and what you know, they want to talk to you and tell you where you're meant to go right now. but you don't have the strength here. It's very much blocked by your ego self. And I'm going to leave you with a playlist on journaling, and because that's how I get in touch with my own inner children. And also, I'm going to leave you a playlist on grounding and how to ground into your body so you can feel. And finally, we're going to look at the advice from the tarot. And you end with another inner child. This is the third one in your deck. Very much an inner child reading here too. Page of Swords. This is the one that holds your authenticity. So you've had one here that holds your wand, which is your creative purpose, and now your authenticity. This was the one. This is the inner child, 4, 5, 6 years old, that knew who you were when you were younger. They hold your truth, right? They hold your truth. And so that is another inner child that needs healing. The one that knew who you were meant to be and got blocked. It got blocked because here's the Seven of Swords card in reverse. And the Seven of Swords is a card about this individual. I call this my bullying card. It's the Five of Swords. I call my Five of Swords a bullying card. So I'm starting to describe the 7, but it's a 5. The 5 is the bullying card. And it's a card about this individual right here who has made out with these swords like he's won something. You know, the bullies are so much... bullies bully because there's so much shame. I always look at this card because of this individual way at the back. He's holding his head because he's the victim here. And this is blocked. You have some blocked shame. This is my shame card. And I think that's what your inner children right here, especially this Page of Swords and who you were. If you weren't allowed to be the person that you were meant to be when you were younger, if you weren't allowed to do what you were meant to do and you were blocked from doing that, you're going to hold a lot of shame because you're not going to feel worthy. And we already talked about how you feel so hopeless. There's a lot of hopelessness sitting here. A lot of shame because you weren't allowed to do what you're meant to do. And here's the Strength card coming in again in reverse as another reminder that says, you know, I know you feel like you can't do this. I know you feel like you can't go inwards and ground yourself and go back into your body and start to feel these big emotions that your inner children need to feel right now in order for you to take your life back, in order for you to go towards that purpose that you were meant to go into. This is a beautiful reading for you, Aquarius. I do want to let you know that I am an Aquarian. So if this reading sounded a bit deep for you, I'm sort of reading my life that's going on for me right now. And I always have difficulty reading Aquarius because I know I'm reading my situation right here. So I want you to have compassion for yourself for what you're working through. This journey called life, our healing journey, the one that we're all on, is the most difficult journey of your life, but it's the most important one. Take care, and I'll talk soon. Bye.